Andy Negative is a guy that has gotten a lot of followers, gotten a lot of hate, gotten a lot of love, and so just released this new song. So I'm going to play this for you before he comes on and talks to me live. So if you haven't heard of Andy Negative, you can get an idea of who we're talking to. But this is Andy Negative's brand new song. Just came out, like a week ago maybe, and it is called I Won't Give Up. And Andy, I believe this was written from your experience releasing When We Were Young. I Won't Give Up, Andy Negative.
I won't give up, Mama always said, if you got nothing nice to say, then shut your mouth. You can say I'll fail, you can tell me to quit. I'm too old, I'll never make it. If I had any sense, I'd just stop now. But I'm not listening. You can knock me down, I don't care at all. Brush off the dirt, I'll come back twice as strong. So many arrows in my back. I won't give up. I never learned the meaning of cutting my losses. Never wanted to be part of your club anyway. I won't give up. Mama always said, if you got nothing nice to say, then shut your mouth. Would you like it better if I yelled off key, singing so desperately about some girl who broke my heart 10 years ago? Get over it. You think that you're so unique? They've been doubting me since 2003. Didn't stop back then, what makes you think I'd stop now? I won't give up. I never learned the meaning of cutting my losses. Never wanted to be part of your club anyway. I won't give up. Mama always said, if you got nothing nice to say, then shut your mouth before someone knocks you out. I never learned the meaning of cutting my losses. Never wanted to be part of your club anyway. I won't give up. Mama always said, if you got nothing nice to say, then shut your mouth. This is gonna hurt you more than it hurts me. I won't give up. I won't give up. I won't give up. I won't give up. Shut your mouth, you dick.
It was like the most perfect ending. All right, so that was that was Andy Negative with I Won't Give Up, brand new song. We're gonna ask some questions and have some fun. So so Sinclair says, brilliantly written. Andy knows what he's doing. I absolutely agree, and I think it's great. So I saw a couple of your videos promoting this song, and you were talking about stealing from other artists, and talking about Boxcar Racer as where you kind of got the inspiration for that riff. And yeah, completely, man. I love God, I miss Boxcar Racer. Anyways, Andy, go ahead and hit guest requests for me, and we will get you on here, and let's have a chat. There we go. What is up, Andy? Thank you so much for coming on here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
What you been up to?
Today, I'm just recording some guitar playthroughs for this song specifically, the one that we just listened to.
Did you say you haven't gone live before? Is this your first time to go live on TikTok?
Yep,
I'm responsible for your first live on TikTok. That's awesome.
absolutely. Yes, you are. This is all your fault.
I'll take the blame or the credit, whatever. I've been following you for a little while now. I'll be honest. It caught my eye when We Were Young, came out. I know you had a lot of new followers come on. You had some
Oh, yeah.
success from TikTok. You put yourself out there, and I was just super impressed. I just kind of noticed you were getting all this hate, and I was like, man, I got to go love on this guy because he's doing what he wants to do, and it's just not for everybody, and that's fine. But I'm a fan. I try to give you the best intro I can. But go ahead and take a minute to introduce yourself to anybody that's watching this now or on the replay later.
Sure, I'm Andy Negative, a emo punk whatever musician from Ottawa, Canada, and I like to have a good time.
Your Spotify bio was interesting because a lot of people don't do a very good job of this, but I think you did. So I wanted to read that real quick. So it says Andy Negative, comic genius, or diabolical lunatic. Either way, he's hell-bent on making pop-punk fun. Love him or hate him, Andy is a wacky character that's adding a theatrical twist to emo punk and spreading a message of self-expression. And from a bio perspective, it's short and sweet, just like your intro you just did. But that's exactly how I would sum up my experience with you so far.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear.
So that's good.
I'm on brand.
So let's jump in. So your song,
Sure.
When We Were Young, is the one that kind of blew up on TikTok. So you received a lot of criticism, but you also gained a lot of support in the process. What was the number one takeaway that you have had from that whole experience?
As an artist, you should just do whatever you want to do and not worry so much about maybe what people think about what you're doing artistically. Everybody's going to have their opinion about it, which is totally cool. And some people's opinion is going to be very counter to your opinion. And some people will voice that opinion very liberally and as often and as much as they can. But a lot of people will like what you do, and they maybe won't be as vocal about it, or they'll maybe won't be vocal publicly about it. Like, I got a lot of messages saying that people liked that song, but not so many people saying they liked it out in public. I think people just didn't want to get roasted by other people. Do what you want to do artistically, stick by your artistic vision, and don't be afraid to look at a situation and ask, if it seems really bad, how is this the best possible thing that happened to me ever? Because this was a huge opportunity for me, and it would have been really easy to just get shut down by it and be like, oh, people hate me, I should quit, I should give up. But instead, I just tried to find the best that I could in it and see this is a great opportunity to grow and find new people like yourself and tons of people who've reached out and been super kind to me amidst all the terrible, shitty trolling that happened.
People can be hateful on the internet, and it's just what are you doing? Who are you to tell me that it's not good? I always say that if you don't like my music, it's just because it wasn't for you. I've just been impressed by your positivity throughout the whole thing and just really running with it. And you've done exactly what I would hope that I would do in that same exact situation. So you asked the question here, comic genius or diabolical lunatic? Which one do you think is more accurate?
I would go with comic lunatic, the less smart of both of those options.
All I can see is what I've seen on TikTok. As I see through my lens of TikTok and social media, is Andy Negative, is that a character that you're portraying, or, is that something that actually is you?
That's a really good question. So yeah, it's me. But also, when anybody turns on a camera, don't they inherently change the way that they act because the camera itself is turned on? Yeah, it's me. And also, it is me in front of the camera.
One of the things I've noticed is you wear pretty much the same thing in all of your videos, right? I'm guessing you don't wear the same thing just all the time, but you're making a conscious decision to put on your iconic stuff for people to remember.
The joke is that I only own three T-shirts, right? And so it's not that I just can't afford more clothes. I do own a couple black T-shirts outside of the ones that I wear here. I will admit to the fact that I do own a couple black T-shirts.
I'd try to have consistency on this platform is when people see a video of me, I want them to recognize it. So,
Of course.
I don't wear this hat all the time, but what I wear is that's really what I wear day to day, unless I'm at work and I'm, wearing something a little bit nicer. I don't change the way I dress or anything like that for the video. Other than I just want some consistency and, throw on the hat, put on the audio sign just so people recognize it.
Well, I really like stripes. I wear striped shirts because I like them. I think they look cool. And the bandana thing is, I always liked bandanas. And then I put a pink one on and the internet got really upset about it. And as soon as I noticed they got upset about it, it's a thing now.
Obviously, you've taken this with a lot of positivity, just like with the this brand new song. Is like you're kind of just poking the bear a lot. Like you enjoy that, right?
A little bit. I mean, it's if you can put yourself out there and that opens you up to criticism from other people, that's fine. And those people are well within their rights and their abilities to criticize. But if they then get upset that you criticize back, it kind of seems like they're trying to create a one-way street where they're safe and they can criticize anyone they want, but they're safe from criticism. So I see a lot of it as like, it's good-natured ribbing at the idea of people making fun of you. You know what I mean? I don't actually dislike anybody or want to go after anybody, really. It's just, if you can dish it out, you got to be able to take it.
I think it's awesome what you're doing, and poking the bear is fun too, so I'm on board for that. I believe that as a musician, the music that we create makes a statement, and most of the time we're aware of the statement we're trying to make. Sometimes musicians don't even realize it, but I always like to ask, like, from your perspective, your music, what kind of statement do you want your music to make?
Right now, the statement I'm making is one of enjoying yourself, not being afraid to like the things that you like, and not worrying so much if everybody else around you maybe doesn't like those things. Like, it's still okay for you to like it. Everyone compares me to, says I'm like the Disney punk guy. And it's like, well, yeah, I watched a lot of Disney movies when I was a kid. I still like them as an adult. I don't see anything wrong with that. A lot of people don't like it, but hey, that's my thing. I don't have to feel bad about enjoying it. So I think a lot of my music is about, right now anyway, is about just, accepting who you are, enjoying the life that you get to live, and trying to have fun while you're doing it.
You kind of mentioned there, like, the Disney of pop punk or whatever. And I've seen this tossed around some. If that's a super negative thing, pun intended, if that's a super negative thing, like, is that really even bad? Again, it just means that it's not for that person.
Exactly.
Do you know that, like, Disney is one of the biggest companies in the freaking world? Like, is that
Yeah, they're one of the
really
biggest entertainment conglomerates, yeah.
Yeah. My 8-year-old daughter really likes I'm Just a Kid by Simple Plan. And so
Great song.
This like full circle pop punk stuff come around. Like, I listened to that when I was a kid. Pop punk is making a comeback. Like, the elder emos are coming back out of the woodworks, and like, we're here now, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of gatekeepers, like, this isn't true pop punk, or this is not like the emo that I listen to, and it's like, just be excited that there's a generation that's getting excited about this. If you're making Disney pop punk, if it is appealing to anybody, great. Like, who cares?
I feel like part of it is some of the older, younger people who maybe feel like that's part of the culture that they need to gatekeep because they feel like it's like precious to them. And I understand where that comes from, because I feel like we all maybe go through that. I went through it a lot when I was like 18 or 19. I was like really particular about what did and didn't fit into the genres of music that I basically based my entire life off of. But then you get older and you're like, yeah, wouldn't it be great if people just liked the music that I like too, and it was popular and it was around everywhere? And then that happens, and the kind of the middle people are like, no, gatekeep it, we don't want this. And then everyone else is like, we do want this though. It makes everything better when it's accessible to everybody and people like it and aren't getting beaten up because they like to listen to it, or they want to wear black clothes and wear eyeliner or whatever. When we went through this in the early 2000s, when pop punk initially came through, people hated it. The punks hated it because it was not punk, right? But for me specifically, and I know a lot of other people, finding Blink-182 got me in the door for listening to bands like The Descendants and Minor Threat and NoFX and just so many others that I listen to religiously now. And had I not gotten through the door with a big kind of popular, easy access band, maybe I never would have gone looking for those, deeper cut bands or whatever you want to call them. So when you see this stuff that's maybe a little more like, oh, it sounds unoriginal and it's like too popular, like that's a good thing. You might get some kids who hear it for the first time and go like, oh, what is this? Like 13, 14-year-olds that find it. And then that opens the door for them to go deeper into the genre and find other bands that maybe are trying new and different stuff or are less well known or whatever.
I saw in your music video that you did, Nerf Gun Kelly. Is that something that somebody called you?
Yeah. That was like the first funny thing that someone said in the like wave of hate. It was a lot of like, yo, unrelease this, quit making music, stop. And it was all really repetitive and pretty boring. And that was the first and only thing I saw that made me like audibly laugh out loud was someone called me Nerf Gun Kelly. And it has nothing to do, at least for me, it has nothing to do with Machine Gun Kelly. I just thought it was so funny that I wanted to like put that in the video because to me it's hilarious.
It's one of those things like, if you're going to be insulting, at least be creative, and that's actually
Yes.
like really good.
Yeah. If someone can be mean to me but make me laugh, I'm like, that you've done it. Because just being mean is like, whatever. That just glances off of me like nothing. But if you can make me laugh, you'll stand out way more.
You just released this new song. You said you were working on some new stuff. What is next for Anndy Negative?
More music. Just a bunch more music and hopefully some crazy fun videos. Well, hopefully, like I know what's coming, but just a lot of fun content to entertain and hopefully give people kind of a little bit of escapism and a laugh, a smile, whatever it is. I'm just trying to give people entertainment so they can feel better.
What does your songwriting process look like?
Oh, yes.
You do all of the recording and everything yourself, right?
I love this. So when it comes to like writing songs, I'm very much, hey, I like this. This is good. I'm very much like I'm a naturalist, I guess you would call it. Like I'm sit down with an acoustic guitar and a writing pad and a pen and just like in front of my computer, and I just work on ideas. I just write as much as I can, try to get some cool stuff down, and then revisit it, and rewrite. And then I, up to recently anyway, I have just recorded everything right here on my computer, and then mixed it and mastered it myself. But now, because partly of what's been happening online and also partly because I just had the benefit of being able to work with a couple new people, I'm starting to be able to stretch out and work with other producers and other writers and people that I think are going to make me a better writer, because I'm not the best. I know I'm not the best. Like I know there's people that are way better than me, and I want to work with those people so I can learn from them just to become better. Try to make a better song.
So you mentioned like being a naturalist, and I think what you mean by that is like you don't like simulated instruments, you like real instruments, right?
I just mean in my like writing process, like I literally just sit down with the acoustic guitar and the pen and paper because that just is what works for me. I have no problem with like with synth drums or synth bass. Like I play like every guitar you're going to hear from me is going to be a real guitar, but like I use Superior a lot because the drum samples are amazingly well made and it's really expensive and time consuming to get good sounding drums. I have no problem with anybody that uses like out in the box like instruments or whatever. You know, if you can get your song across, the average listener who's not a musician doesn't care where the sound came from. They just care if they like it and it makes them feel a certain way.
I just prefer real instrument, and if I can work with a session drummer or something like that, I prefer doing that because mapping drums and stuff is like my least favorite thing to do.
I actually like doing it. I learned how to do it a long time ago, and it just like became part of the process, and so it never really bothered me that much.
There's these programs out there that can humanize these virtual instruments. So like you said, most people are not going to be able to pick up on the difference. So I think what you're saying is rather just get the music out there rather than trying to spend a month working on something and get real instruments on it.
And I love working with real musicians as well. I've recorded lots with full bands and stuff. It just comes down to me. It comes down to productivity and workflow. And sometimes it's just not conducive to wait for a musician, because musicians are notoriously poor at showing up for things on time. I don't really put a lot of stock in people being like overly proficient at their instrument. Obviously, I feel like that's important to be able to do your instrument well enough. But I think somebody that works hard, shows up, and is easy to get along with is generally more fun to work with, and you're going to get something better out of it because you enjoy the time that you're putting into it. Mm-hmm. That's just what I found anyway.
So you mentioned you're working with some new musicians and producers and stuff like that. Is there anything, worth sharing? Is there anything you can't share, or like, how far are we talking about? Is this going?
It's more like there's nothing to announce yet. It will be in its own time, but it won't be so far in the future that it's like, years and years and years down the road. But there'll be some stuff coming, maybe at the end of the year, maybe beginning of next year. It's just stuff that's getting finalized and, things that are in motion. And until stuff's finished, it's hard to really say what's going to happen. But I just think I'm going to have some opportunities to work with people. And I hope that opens up more opportunities to work with other people who are more talented than me.
Did those opportunities come specifically from the stuff you've been doing on TikTok or Instagram or anything?
Not specifically, but it doesn't hurt. Yeah, when you can say like, oh, by the way, there's all this stuff going on, people are like, oh, okay, that's cool, we can talk. People respond a lot more when there's stuff going on than when you've only got like 500 followers.
What we talk about here a lot is doing the music industry different than it's been done in the past, and like, independent musicians sort of taking back what the label was responsible for. There's so much stuff that you can do that you don't need that label anymore.
Yep.
And you can do a lot of that yourself. I'm not saying labels are bad, but there is a different type of music industry taking place. I like to call it community. If I can be of any help to you whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask. We're having a good time here. I'm glad that you're plugging away and you're getting some stuff done. And they say all the time, like, you never know, one video could change your life. So
yep.
I love that you're sticking to it, and you make fantastic videos, by the way. And I would love to have you back on this show maybe one time to talk about how you do your videos.
Of course, yeah, I'd love to.
I like to do some resources interview and then a musician spotlight interview. So I'd love to have you back and talk more about the video, because as I kind of direct message you, like, I am learning now that I have to get good at video too. Like,
yes.
You have to be good at all the things to be an independent musician.
Yes.
And so I know that's just one thing that I'm going to have to learn. And in a world of social media where everything is visual, you've got to learn how to do some stuff. And your videos are freaking amazing.
Thank you. I see myself, like, I'm a musician and I'm a writer, but I see myself as a content creator. And I know a lot of musicians see that as kind of like a dirty word. Like, oh, I don't want to be a content creator. I want to be a musician. But, the industry changes, and now this is like a part of it. And it gives us such a cool opportunity to make a new set of skills that ties in with the other things that we're doing. It gives us the ability to meet new people, build a community, just in a way that was never available to be done before. Like, up until the past, like, maybe 5 years, you needed a label or like a lot of money. And now you can literally do the whole thing. You can build an entire community and fan base in a tiny ass little room. Like, you don't need it with your phone. It's crazy. I love it.
I like what you said about the being a content creator. Content creation is just another wording for what it is that you're doing. You are a content creator that is creating content based around music. Musicians don't really want to be a content creator, but if you want to make it, you kind of have to do that.
I mean, there's other ways, but yeah, I feel like it's imperative to at least learn the basics or have enough money to hire someone to do it for you. Those are pretty much the two options.
For anybody watching this now or watching it on YouTube replay later, just like to give you the opportunity. Is there any last thoughts or anything to say before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm having a really fun time. I'm just following my artistic journey to seeing where it will take me. And I'm just super grateful for every single person who has reached out, wanted to do anything with me, even if it's just like positive comments and kindness, like an interview with you. This is so cool. Like, I feel like these opportunities are so awesome. And I'm count myself really grateful and really lucky to have them. So if anybody wants to send me a message, like, I always try to respond to my messages, to the comments whenever I can. Just like, If you want to listen to my music, watch my videos, awesome. If you want to engage, cool. If not, whatever. Like, I'm just trying to have fun on this crazy, weird journey, and I really hope that everyone will come along with me and enjoy their time while they're doing it.
Very well said. And so you are on all streaming platforms. You over on the other socials, Instagram, YouTube. What are you on?
So primarily I do YouTube and TikTok, but I do have an Instagram and a Twitter that I use. So you can find me at any of those. Right now, my main focus, though, is YouTube and TikTok.
Anybody that wants to check out Anndy Negative can do so on those platforms, and as well as all the streaming services. Andy, just wanted to say again, like, I truly appreciate you coming on here for your very first TikTok live.
Yeah, thanks for getting me to do it.
Honored for doing that. But I really just, I've reached out to some artists, and I want to give everybody a chance to get to know you better and give you a platform for maybe to pick up a new fan or two. Some people say no, and you said yes. And so I just want to make sure that you know that I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come hang out on TikTok Live for the first time.
I'm glad to do it. This is a lot of fun.
You had some really cool insight and some things. Maybe people could just see who you are behind the scenes a little bit. And I think you did a fantastic job of it.
I think you did a fantastic job.
You're so sweet. All right, man. Well, I'm going to kick you out, and I'll catch you
Sounds good.
on the flip side, man. Thanks.
All right. Have a great one.
All right. That was Anndy Negative. I think that was a really cool interview, and very, very cool guy. Again, just seeing the process of everything he's been through here recently, and the way to approach social media, take everything with a grain of salt, but just going above that and like poking the bear and just having fun with it. Because at the end of the day, we are all making music. We all have styles. We all have preferences. And what I make as far as music goes, and I think most musicians would say this, is that music is a therapeutical thing. Technically musicians most of the time are making music for themselves. Like when I make music, I want it to be something that I would want to listen to. I mean, that's the whole point, is I have this music in my head and I have to get it out. And I'm so blessed to have the ability to, come downstairs into this home recording studio. And when a thought pops in my head, I can just like get it out of my head and make it happen. And if people like it, that's really cool. And I want you to like it. But if you don't, it's just not for you. My music is made for certain people like me, and if it's not you, then that's okay, But to see that social media can just completely, turn upside down and become this very toxic place that we all know it's capable of. To see what Andy's done and just take that and go with it, and not only not shy away from it, but to actually take it head on, has been really impressive to see. So I wanted Andy to come on here and talk about that. So we are the princes and princesses of the glory days. Well, that is all I've got today. Another fantastic edition of Devin's Song Reviews Live. For those that don't know, this is a weekly show. So every Saturday from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock Central, which is 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock Eastern, we do this. So if you're an independent musician, or of an independent musician that would like their song to be reviewed, they can submit their song in the Linktree form in my bio here on TikTok. And if you know of any musicians that would actually like to be featured here and do an interview on the Musician Spotlight, have them reach out to me as well. Right now, this is only on TikTok Live. The replay goes over to YouTube. I just kind of prefer this platform for now, the way that I'm doing things. So unfortunately, that means that some musicians that don't have 1,000 followers on TikTok, I can't have them go live with me. So that's unfortunate, but, it's just something to work towards. So even if they're not at 1,000 followers right now, I'd still love the introduction so that I can be around for when they are. But this is another week in the books for Devin Song Reviews Live. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. And, let everybody know to tune in and get something out of this. And I'll catch you all next week, and can't wait to see what kind of songs are submitted this week. So y'all enjoy it. Have the great rest of your weekend. Have a great week. And make sure to follow Anndy Negative And make sure to follow me if you're not already so that you can get notified when I go live so you don't miss a show. But yeah, Sinclair, thanks for being a moderator. Thanks for everybody that submitted music and hung out with us today.